well, drivers make their way out onto the starting grid now for the Mini X30 final. And all the way throughout this, it's been an absolutely palpable set of races. Ludwig Granquist, who didn't win a qualifying heat over the course of yesterday, starts on pole for this one after winning his Super earlier on. But let's take a look at the category. Mini X30, drivers aged 12 to 14 years of age. There were 52 entries coming into this weekend. A fabulous array of drivers from all the way around the world. 60cc is the engine power, 10 brake horsepower is the maximum, and of course 110 kilos total weight, driver included. If they come even 1 gram underneath that, they're in trouble. The tyres that they're using over the course of this weekend, well, on the first couple of days, it will have been them wet Comet tyres they'll have used. But over the course of the racing today, they'll have used the Comet K1DM tyres. They will have had the 2 sets allocated for them to use over the entirety of this weekend. A lot of the drivers, I suspect, will have deployed them for this one, because I'm looking out the commentary box window, seeing many fresh tyres out there. The championship standings at the moment, Austin Newstead, 34 points. He maintains his championship lead ahead of Green. Really looking forward to see what they can do in this one, because again, the gap's not very big. And again, there's 25 points up for grabs for this one. Warner is there in third, 1 point ahead of Jayer. Priam Bruno there as well from Zdeněk Babacek. They're joint on 20 points at the moment. How close is that championship at the moment, Andrew? Closest as you can get it. Really looking forward to see, because this could really shake up.
It really could, particularly for those drivers who've made it through to this final. One of the drivers in that top 6 has not. Unfortunately, Zwer's winner, Oliver Warner, will not take part in this final, but it's a great opportunity for Austin Newstead. I think we had a difficult time qualifying, but he's come through the order. He's been consistent in terms of the race pace. If he can win this race, and it is a big if, not because of the talents of Newstead. He's got a lot of talents, but just the unpredictability again around this place. If he can win this, I think it's a big step towards his championship campaign. He'll have a good lead going towards round 3.
Certainly will, and of course that will be the infamous Wackersdorf circuit in Germany. But there's time before then, because right now we're about to go racing for Mini X30. There you can see our race director Martin Bean just having a few words with the front row starter Maxim Bobreshov, who starts this one on the outside of row number 1, came second in his Super Heat earlier on. But again, Bobreshov having some really good results here. Again, another driver who's not taken a qualifying heat win so far this weekend. His best result's been P2. He's not actually won anything so far this weekend. Could he win this final? Again, it's a possibility. He's got the pace, he's got the position, he knows what he needs to do.
Yeah, he's been on a really good form so far this week, and I think all of these drivers in the first few rows will have a lot of confidence. Here's Ludwig Granquist. I've been really impressed with Ludwig Granquist so far this weekend. One of many drivers who's stepped up in terms of performance from what we saw in Spain. As a reminder, Granquist was in the points back in at Zaira, 12th in the final. But he's a genuine contender for the win here this weekend. Maxim Bobreshov also there on that front row. Big thanks to the marshals, of course. Without them, we could not go racing anywhere, including here in northern Italy. And they've had a lot to contend with this weekend, as we've mentioned, with the weather. It has been a bit up and down, but thankfully for the finals here today on Sunday, it is shining out there on the circuit.
There again, Maxim Bobreshov just getting himself primed and ready. He's had his word there with our race director. And just coming in to say hello there. Is that Jayer Sarlath? I'm going to say yes, it is. Yes, it is Jayer Sarlath who's going to be having a quick word of encouragement before the head of this race. Now, Jayer Sarlath starts right behind Bobreshov on this one. P4 on the outside of row number 2. These drivers really needing to think of a plan here, and I think that's what they were just doing, of how they're going to get to the inside quickly enough, because they've got to contend with this young man here, Austin Newstead. Well, what can we say about Austin? Really looking forward to what he can do in this one. Current championship leader. He's leading by a good chunk of points now, but it's not enough to really warrant him feeling comfortable going into the rest of the season that he's going to be championship leader for all of it, because, of course, he's got Green just behind, he's only on 27 points, and he's in this race as well, and there's 25 points up for grabs.
I think the key thing for Newstead from a mentality side of things is keep doing what you're doing, because it's clearly working so far this year. His consistency has been there. That's why he's at the top of the standings right now. So yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, because it has served him well so far, and hopefully he can break through for his championship bid and take a race victory. But it is going to be a difficult one here.
It is going to be a really difficult one, isn't it? There is Harrison Mackie. You could just see the top. You could tell it's Harrison Mackie by his fringe. But yeah, you can see he's watching this one, getting ready to go racing on this one. Here's Will Green, P4 in his Superheat earlier on today. Will Green, really good results over the course of this one. Had a third, 13th, and a win earlier on. Does sit third in the championship. Now he steps up to second in it. So he's had that improvement. He could end this weekend a championship leader. Again, it's just going to be a tough race. This is going to be the longest race that we've seen. The qualifying heats were very tactical, I think, for the minis, weren't they? There was like 5-kart stress, and they were working away, pulling over the gap, everything like that. But then in the Superheats earlier on, they're a bit more frantic. And frantic for this man here, Harry Williams, who put it on pole position in timed qualifying. He was the fastest out of all the drivers that had entered into this weekend. But best he could do in his Superheat was a P5. He's only dropped down 2 rows. He starts on the outside in the 6th spot of the grid. But certainly, he's put himself in a good position, and he's shown great pace this weekend, I think.
He has. I think it's been a very impressive performance from Harry Williams, another one of those, like we said, with Ludwig Granquist, who's taken a huge step up, scored his first points of the season through the heats and qualifying heats, and is well positioned to score more from that position on the grid. Been impressed with this young driver as well, Jean Puyol from France. Didn't see Jean race in Spain, so he's kind of had to hit the ground running, which, considering how much racing we have had so far this year, is easier said than done. But he's been very impressive, and yeah, starts there also on the 3rd row of the grid.
Indeed. We'll have the company of Colby Patterson starting alongside. Now, Colby had a bit of a disaster on his last race. He did come across the line as a race winner after that move around the outside of turn 15. He crossed the line first. Unfortunately, that warning flag on under investigation that he got at the beginning of that race did come into effect. Unfortunately for him, he did receive a time penalty, and he dropped all the way down to 14th place at the end of that one, which means he's been bumped to 8th place for this final. But there's still no disheartening from that one, because he's in a good position, he's primed and ready, and I think he's focused on this one.
And things to take from that, despite the penalty, the race pace was still good.
Yes.
Also, the fact that it was a 1st to 14th shows you again how close X30 Mini is this weekend. So being there on the 4th row of the grid, that's still a position from which you can work. I mean, we think back to Zuera. Warner won it from 11th on the grid. So if you take that into account, everyone back to row 6 as a decent shot, including that young man there, George House, who's been building through the weekend. Starts on the 5th row of the grid. P9 for the driver from the United Kingdom. Another one of the Oliver Rowland Motorsport pilots who's done well this weekend. And here's Harley Musk, who will join him on that 5th row of the grid. It's very much been the story this weekend of 2 teams being powerhouses within this category, Fusion and the aforementioned ORM team. Having said that, though, you look at the top grid, you've got Falcon in there, BMR, Jamie Green Racing. Everybody's stepped up their game across the course of this weekend. So, again, just adds to the unpredictability of what we are about to see. A bit of a reminder back to a few weeks ago when Miami Series Italy, the Italian Championship, were here for their 2nd round of their season. For the record books, it was Jayer Sarlath who took the victory on that one. Bobreshov was 2nd, Christian Kobe was 3rd, Granquist 4th, Puyol 5th. So they're all names that we've got here this weekend in the Miami Euro Series, all knowing how they can tackle these races. There's Robert Ruiz making some last-minute adjustments ahead of this race. The photographer's getting into position to capture the best of the action here at Franciacorta. There is a quick look at Antoine Venant. Started the weekend very quickly, did Venant, and again is one of those drivers where with a bit more luck could have been a bit higher up the grid. But again, we just remember back to Zuera, that is the position where our winner came from for round number 1. So again, plenty of reasons to be confident. Will Green there, just stood to the side of his 842 machine, getting ready for this next race, this final. Very impressed with this young driver as well, Anthony. Sushmani Khera, another driver who has taken a big step up this weekend. Just outside the points-paying positions through the the FIC, but this is a great opportunity for Sushmani Khera to get on the board in the 2024 season.
100%. And I mean, the weekend really started for her for qualifying, second overall in qualifying. A superb effort for Sushmani Khera. A lap that came, I think, from nowhere, because she was right at the back of the grid in that qualifying grid, and then all of a sudden the second group came through and boom, she went to the top of the timing screen, and I thought, wow, where did that lap come from? And, you know, everyone was super happy with it. I think she's done a brilliant job this weekend, really controlled, I think, every race scenario, really working on it. Race 1 didn't fully go away. She did come away with a penalty after that one, of course, along with 2 other drivers in that sharp end of the field as well. But the second races were good. 5th place and a 7th has always maintained, when she's not got a penalty, a top 10 result, and that's been really good. And she did the same in the Super Heat earlier on, P7 in that one. There you can see the grid is completely cleared. The yellow light is flashing, indicating we've got about 20 seconds before the race gets underway. Well, before the formation lap, I should say, gets underway. For Mini X30, it is the final. This is going to be their longest race of the weekend. 13 laps in total, and it is being led by Ludwig Granquist from Sweden and Maxim Bobreshov from the United Arab Emirates. The whistle blows and the drivers make their way onto the track. Let's take you through the full starting lineup in Mini X30 final. It's Ludwig Granquist and Maxim Bobreshov on the front row of the grid. Austin Newstead and Jayer Sarlath round out row number 2 from Will Green and Harry Williams. Jean Puyot and Colby Patterson go from row 4 from George House and Harley Musk on row 5. Antoine Vinot and Sushmani Khera go from row 6 from Bruno Priam and Samuel Hugden on row 7. Zdeněk Babacek and Freddie Wood, they go from row 8 from Alfie Davidson and Aurelio Longatano on row number 9.
Baptiste Augustin and Aaron Berhofer start on the 10th row of the grid. Noah Grenier and Luca Pavel start on row 11. David Arcton and Christian Kobe start on row 12. Look out for Kobe, he had a good performance here a few weeks ago in preparation for round 2. Austin Gibson and Gabriel Rinaldo start on row 13 rather. Row 14, Bruno Grieling and Cooper Snedden. Row 15, completing the top 30, Julian van der Koltelet and Guido Ebergheni. Nahil El Gahoudi has made the final again here in Italy and is starting on row 16 alongside Matis Bragio. Nuvela Morales and Charlie Clough start on the 17th row of the grid. George Clark and Lewis Boots complete the 36 kart field. There in the bottom right-hand side of your corner are the championship scores after the allotments of points from the final intermediate classification. Newstead on 34, Green 27, Warner 25 does not take part in this race, has not made it into the top 36. Sayer, Priam, Babicek the top 6. We haven't mentioned Bruno Priam too much. I've been saying about, oh, well, winner came from 11th place last time out. Do you know what? We're going to throw Bruno Priam in there because the pace for Bruno Priam has been very good. He's a little bit further back in the grid because of one of his race results was nullified with a disqualification. But watch out for Bruno Priam. This is exactly the kind of race, longer race, more laps, more opportunities to come through the field.
It certainly is. While the field make their way in towards turn 14, everything looks ready and calm before ahead of a frantic 13 laps of this final. Into the tram lines, the lights go green. We are off and racing, and it's a great start from the inside row. And keep an eye on Newstead. Newstead to the lead, gets the move down the inside ahead of Ludwig Granquist and goes for the charge now. It's Will Green up into second place. He got a good start as well as they go 3 wide in towards turn 5. Is everyone going to make it through cleanly? I hope the answer to that is yes, and I think the answer to that is no, because it's all gone wrong at turn number 2. There's 4 karts off the track. One of them, Augustin Baptiste. One of them, Aaron Buffer, I think is off the track as well. David Agden as well. And I think Noah Grenier is also another. But the OMS driver, Cooper Snedden, I think, has got back going again. But clearly, that's not been the start they will have wanted.
No, not at all. Great start for both Newstead and Granquist. Good start, move from Granquist moving up to the order. In fact, apologies. No, it's Will Green who's come forward. Will Green in the yellow helmet there for Jamie Green Racing has started very nicely indeed. So Green leads from Newstead, Puyol at 4 to 3rd, Bobreshov down to 4th, George House has started well, also is up to 5th, whereas Granquist in 6th place. Bit of a slow start for the Swede there. And for these two drivers now, they'll try and get into a rhythm. This is a really important phase of the race now. For Green, for Newstead, they can't fight. They can't start going at it like it's the last 2 laps of the race. We're still in the only first 2 laps of the race. They've got to try and do everything they can to break away from those behind. But that is very much one of those things that's easier said than done, because look at Jean Puyol. Jean Puyol has closed in through sector number 2. Is he setting up for a move now into the final hairpin? He is. Down the inside, apologies, it's Bobreshov who's come through. So Bobreshov in the 811. This is what we've seen a lot of so far this weekend as well. Bobreshov has looked good in race trim. It's now up to 2nd place.
Yep, this is nicely done. Due to the incident at turn number 1, everyone is still running, which is good to see. There is no retirements just yet, just drivers falling down the field. Bobreshov takes the lead of this one, then gets past Newstead. Newstead holds on to 2nd, but Oshma's longer. Oh, he's getting pushed out wide. Oh, no. Your championship leader, Austin Newstead, gets squeezed off the track at turn number 5, and unfortunately, that huge curb just pulls him onto the grass, and he tumbles down the order. We'll find out where he lies now, but again, Harry Williams sends it down the inside now. He dives down the inside I think that is Puyo, just further down the field. Now, where did Newstead come out? 14th place. That's a disaster.
That is him now, just on the fringes inside the points, but has got to keep hope, got to keep faith that he can pull himself back into this one, because look at the train. It's forming. Bobreshov out front, but only by 3.5 tenths of a second. George House up there in P2, Will Green now P3. And everybody else still very much in play. This is Franciacorta at his finest. I've got to say, though, for Newstead, there was a very sensible thing he did there. He's helped by the fact it's a little bit drier off the circuit here today than it was earlier in the weekend, but he opened his steering. He knew if he tried to wrestle it back on the curb, he was going to get in even more trouble. So at least he's been able to keep himself in the points with that move. Here is the race start. Great start for Newstead. Down the inside of Granquist. There was what happened to Noah Grenier in the middle of things there. That's put him down in 35th place as well, with Baptiste Augustin involved in there as well. There's also been a problem out, which is whilst we're back with the live feed. Jayer Sarlath, the winner of the Italian Championship round here a few weeks ago, is all the way down in 32nd place. Meanwhile, also at the very front, change for the lead. Is there about to be a change for the lead yet again? Yes, there is. Will Green goes past George House for first position, and Maxim Bobreshov is now back up to P2.
Well, this is good stuff here then. Bobreshov really piling on the pressure, though, still. Keep an eye on this as everyone's closing in. Look at Harry Williams here. Williams to the inside of George House through turn number 6 and 7. Gets that move done, then he's up into P3. This is nicely done by the driver who was on pole position in Friday's qualifying session, looking much stronger now as he did tumble down the order in those qualifying heats. Zdeněk Babacek, unfortunately, has picked up a warning flag. That comes with a 5-second in-race time penalty. Babacek, who currently sits in P6, will tumble down the order at the end.
Yeah, that's a really bad moment for one of the drivers in the top 6 in the championship. Virtual championship scores stand like this. Down the inside, look at George House trying to find a way past Harry Williams. Good attempt, but didn't quite work. Green has the live lead of the championship, 52 points ahead of Newstead on 43, who, by the way, is back up to 7th place in this race. Once again, using that race pace that we've seen throughout the course of the season so far. Bobreshov 37, Priam, Babacek and Warner still in the top 6. Remember, Warner not in this race, unfortunately. Still a long way in this one to go. We're only on lap 6 of 13. Bobreshov, I think, well, we've seen him in this position in the last race in the Superheats and in his last heat yesterday. He'll be quite happy right now to just work with Will Green there in 2nd place and push away and hopefully make a move late on in this race for the lead.
Yeah, certainly so. We'll keep an eye on it because, again, it's a dangerous position now for these two drivers to be in. Well, not for them, actually, because they're in the perfect position. They're 1-2. They can work together, break away. It's a dangerous position for the drivers from 3rd place down. Williams, House, Bruno Priam. Bruno Priam up into 5th place. You were talking about it. The wildcard is coming through. He has done just as you predicted there, Andrew. And, yeah, certainly making very good pace there. And he's there in P5. That could actually be the saving factor, actually, for Williams and House, who are there, who have not been able to keep up with these two just right on the rear bumper. If I say that, I'm going to eat my words a little bit there. I think they're closing in just a little bit on these two. So I reckon even without Bruno Priam's help there, I think they could close this battle here. There is the look at the gap, Bruno to green, and it is 7/10 of a second. We will check that when they next cross the line, because something tells me that will have come down just that little bit then. Across the line they go. We start lap 8 now. 7 laps completed of 13, and it has come down just that little bit more again, 7/10 of a second, as we keep an eye on these two battling here. Will Green leading the way up 4 positions. He started this one P5. He now leads the championship as well.
All of the top 5 did a 56.0 last time around, but the fastest driver on circuit is Austin Newstead in 7th place right now on a 55.866. Is there is a problem for the 865. Was that Puyol? It was. Jean Puyol. Freddie Wood is out of the race as well, sadly. So for Jean Puyol, with that bright start, no points for the Frenchman from this race. Meanwhile, back at the front, it's Jamie Green Racing's Will Green ahead of Future Motorsport's Maxim Bobreshov through the final hairpin once again through the final corner. That's lap 8 done, and what is the gap now? It was 0.4, it's now 0.3, and there is Bruno Priam, 8 spots gained already. Has had a very up and down week. When it's been going well, it's been going very well indeed, and he is well in 56.1s now, still very even pace, and still yet again Newstead, another new fastest lap, is about 2.5 tenths quicker than this pack, but has he got enough laps to rejoin this battle for the lead?
That is the ultimate question here. He's still got to get past the Babacek as well, who he knows has a warning flag, but still he still needs to try and get past, though, and that's a lot of real estate they've got in between themselves. Just the one retirement you could see there, the Jamie Green Racing driver, Freddie Wood, walking away from his car. He seemed to be in a bit of discomfort there in his wrist, so we do hope that Freddie Wood is okay, and I'm sure he's being seen by the relevant people there. Marshall's fantastic job by them so far in this one, you know, having the incidents and clearing the incidents so quickly. They're very, very efficient here at the Franciacorta circuit in Italy. Got to take their hats off to them with the hard work they've done over the course of this weekend. But the hard work is not over for the Mini X30 grid. They are still going to work here, and I got to say, Williams and House have closed in without the help of Bruno Priam. He's dropped back a little bit now, hasn't he? So these 4 have closed in, or maybe he's done that purposely, as we see a change for the lead. Bobreshov down the inside through turns 9 and 10. Will Green's going to fight back instantly, though, and he's going to take no prisoners there. Gets it back through 11 and 12. This really brings back everyone into this fray. Harry Williams is right in that tow. Green goes defensive in towards turn 14. They all won slightly wide. Bruno Priam is back into the fray. This helps out one driver most definitely, and that is Austin Newstead, who is now leading the train just behind as they try and close in.
Well, here we go. This is Minis Racing at Franciacorta. This is what we've come for this weekend. No offence to the juniors and the seniors, but this could be race of the day. Will Green defensive to the inside, holds the lead ahead, and through comes the 877, 3 wide, out of turn through 6. Bruno Priam has nipped through there into second place. He's come from 13th on the grid, and the Belgian for Spirit Racing is right on the bumper of Will Green now. How is Newstead getting on? He took about half a second out of this group. He's closed in. He's back with the main pack. Here we go. 2.5 laps remaining. Will Green down the back straight now into the final hairpin, working with Priam. This is an important couple of corners. If they can break away, if they can get in into the heads of the drivers behind, then they're fighting for the last spot on the podium. They could at least get second place for both of them. 2 laps to go. The gap between Priam and Bobreshov is 2.5 tenths.
Well, every position that Austin Newstead gains here, and there's contact in the mid-pack there, and it's Babacek. Babacek who bore the brunt of it, I think, and he tumbles down the order. I think Granquist just got through, and that was a heart-in-mouth moment. No, it was George House. George House, I think, with the contact. He's gone down the order. There's the 817 as well. That's Austin Gibson, unfortunately, tumbling down to the back of the field, but the race goes on. We're on lap 12 of 13. There is still another lap to go at the end of this one, and we're still being led by Will Green. Bruno Priam in second place, Bobreshov, Williams, Newstead, Granquist. But like I was saying, every position Newstead gains in this final, he closes the gap up to Will Green's championship lead, which is only less than 10 points now. Across the line they go. We start the final lap. Who's going to take it?
Will Green's done an amazing job in this race to hold on to the race lead to this point, but now it's the hardest lap of his whole weekend because he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 rivals, nearly 5 rivals right on this rear bumper. It's getting very close into turn 5. Here comes Austin Newstead. He's going to get another spot. He's side by side with Bobreshov for 3rd place, but he's on the outside now. Oh, good save there from Granquist. Contact with the 827 of Harry Williams. The corners are ticking on by, but the most important of them all is still to come. Can Bruno Priam get into a position? There's more carts off through turn number 5 and turn number 6. It's a good lead for Will Green down the straight towards turn 14. Here we go. Moves across. Gets the run out of the corner. Here comes Newstead, still fighting for every position. Will Green is going to win in Italy. Will Green takes the lead in the championship with a magnificent win here at Franciacorta. Bruno Priam goes from 13th to finish 2nd. A big boost of points for him as well. And it's Maxim Bobreshov who completes the podium in 3rd.
Well, what can you say about that, eh? Mini X30 delivering once again, and Will Green from the 3rd row of the grid takes the win here, and like you said, takes the championship lead as well, but only by a couple of points, 5 points to be exact, ahead of Austin Newstead. Newstead had the positioning in the early stages of that race. You know, I've got to give it to Newstead. Kept his head in it on that one. He went wide onto that curb. He got squeezed out onto the grass. We all thought, oh, that's over. He's going to lose the championship lead. And that could have been vital for the actual end of the championship as well. But he kept his cool. He closed back in and he got those points. Yes, he's lost the lead of the championship, but he's not lost it by 30 points. He's not lost it by 10 points. Only 5 points.
Yeah, that could be a very important second half of the drive. The points gained there through from lap 4, lap 5, up to the end of lap 13 could be big ones come the end of the season. There is your provisional results in the X30 Mini final. Will Green wins by 0.066 of a second ahead of Bruno Priam. Maxim Bobreshov, Austin Newstead, and Zdeněk Babacek in the top 5. Should note, though, Babacek has a warning flag and a 5-second penalty. Ludwig Granquist scored points in 6th. Harry Williams, George House, Colby Patterson as well. Sushmani Khera does score her first points of the season in the Miami Euro Series. 10th on the road, that will become 9th once penalties have been applied. Aurelio Ongitano in the points as well as Harley Musk, Antoine Venant. What a try from Nuevalo Morales as well. From the back of the grid, gets into 14th. A couple of points there for the efforts for the Spaniard for Birrell Art Racing. The last of the drivers home and seeing the checkered flag in the top 15 was Samuel Hugon. Mathis Braggio, Bruno Grieling, Julian van der Koltelet, Alfie Davidson and Christian Kobe all in the top 20. Let's have a look now, Anthony, at some of the highlights of that race.
And there were many highlights. The start was an interesting one from the inside because straight away Newstead diving into the lead. That 2nd row of the grid working really well. Unfortunately for the mid-pack there, it didn't end well. And for many of our drivers, Neil Gagnier, Baptiste Augustine, they had tumbled down the order. The rest of the race, though, carrying on as they exit out of the turn. And again, it was just a good getaway for the rest of the field. There's another angle of that drama at the start of that race. Crucially, everyone got restarted as well in that one. Green got up into 2nd pretty quickly as well from the 3rd row of the grid. Lightning start from that inside row. But just at this point here, got into the lead, drove away, and I thought at this moment here we were going to see 2 karts going all the way to the end with no competition.
Well, that's definitely what they were trying to do, and you've got to give it to both of them. These were 2 teams that weren't necessarily at their best a few weeks ago in preparation for this Miami Euro Series round, but they have really stepped up to the task here this weekend. More highlights as Bobreshov went into the lead of the race. This was the crucial point of the race for Austin Newstead. And again, he knew he was going to be in trouble there on that curb. Actually going fully off it and then coming back on it at a better angle of attack. I don't know whether he meant to do it, but it was a very, very shrewd piece of driving. It got him back onto the road in around 14th place and able to fight back from there. Here was a move for the other BMR in that race. George House down the inside of Will Green. That was for the lead. Green would immediately respond. One of those drivers who likes to lead these races out. Knows he's going to have challenges, knows there's going to be people trying to take that lead from him, but he likes to control things from the front. Moving through the order as well, the 827 of Harry Williams, he can be very pleased with his weekend here at Franciacorta. Bobreshov took the lead away from Green on lap 10, but again, immediately Green struck back, next corner, back down the inside, got himself back at the front of the order, into the last few laps as well through turn 5. This was when Bruno Priam, who was brilliant in that race, managed to get 3 drivers in one move back up to 2nd place. Here it is again, just driving up the hill. Really clever positioning on the road from Bruno Priam. A good value for the haul of points that he's taken here this weekend.
Exactly. George House was trying to do that same move there. Unfortunately, he just clipped that curb on the inside, which unsettled him. He couldn't get the power down, and that's how, Bruno Priam got that move through. On these last few laps here, the disastrous contact, unfortunately, for George House tumbled him down the order just that little bit more. And on this final lap, we nearly lost the championship leader going into this weekend, Austin Newstead. Look at the side-by-side here. Harry Williams and Ludwig Granquist. Contact between the two of them. How close were they to nearly getting in? Both of them wiped out of that race. Yeah,
they both did well to hold on to that situation. Will Green, though, knew he had things under control. His run through sector number 2 on the final lap was very important indeed. He knew at that point, around the final turn, that he was going to take the race victory ahead of Priam. Look how close that was on the line as well between Bobreshov and Newstead. All of them can be very pleased with how that race went on.
Please give a huge round of applause for your top 3 in the Mini X30 category here at Franciacorta. Please now welcome onto the podium the CEO of RGMC, James Geidel, to present the winner's trophy. Firstly, to 3rd place, Maxim Bobreshov. The 2nd place trophy to Belgium's Bruno Priam. And your race winner from the United Kingdom, Will Green. Finally, of course, the team's trophy to Jamie Green Racing. Perfect stuff. Drivers, hold those trophies nice and high up in the air. Nice big smiles to the photographers out there. And we'll get all 3 on the top step of the podium as well. Drivers, lift those trophies above your head, please. Even you, Bruno, above your head. There we go. Pay attention to everyone else there, Bruno. Above your head. There we go. Well, we'll do with that one. There we go. There we go. We got it. Perfect. And if we get everyone on that top step of the podium, that would be perfect. All get up on that top step. Nice big smiles. Bruno, there you go. Yep. James, you can join them as well. Nice big smiles again for all the photographers out there. A beautiful end to that race. Certainly a very frantic final for the Mini X30s, but certainly well delivered when we head to Wackersdorf. Well, now, James, you can feel free to duck and cover at this point. We'll get ready for the bottles of champagne. So, Mark, please do present the drivers. You probably want to pop the trophies down now for this moment. I will stress, this is not actually champagne. It's merely sparkling water for the drivers. But are we ready? In 3, 2, 1, it's champagne! Absolutely fantastic stuff. Will Green, I think, well, actually, Maxim Bobreshov taking the brunt of that one now. A nice chunk of it to the eye. Will, come on over. Let's have a quick chat. Will, come on this side here of me. The camera's just over to our left here. Have you got any of that in your eye there?
Yeah.
Perfect. Right, Will, what a final that was for you. So much happened, but coming out on top of that one, it must be such a great feeling now heading out of Italy in high spirits.
Yeah, it was a good race. I had a good start, and I was just able to have a good last lap and take it away.
Wackersdorf is next, a track that I think a lot of the paddock haven't been to yet. Are you ready for that? You ready for the new challenge?
Yeah, I'm excited for that weekend, as I've not been there before, and hopefully we can do the same as we did here.
Well, I hope so as well. Well, brilliant result for you. Give it up once again, ladies and gentlemen, for Mini X30.